There he is, my brother from another mother.
How's
How
it
you
going?
doing, pal?
Good, good, good.
Hello, boy.
Oh,
Pete the Duke's in the house. How you doing, Pete? Thanks for joining us. Of course, this past weekend was the inaugural NCAA weekend
it
series.
was. It
So
was.
the first one is complete. It's in the books. And Danny, as I said, we might as well dive right into it. I think this is a really cool concept. Tell us a little bit more about where this came from. Was this another dip in the hot tub that you envisioned this whole thing, or what?
Man, I have a lot of good ideas that brew in there. It's obviously, put bacon inside of a hot tub and look what happens, eh? But we were just pondering my last genius idea, which we're going to mull over later on as well. But it was more just talking to friends, and I was like, what else can we do? And we see the whole tournament dynamic changing, obviously with the cost of everything. We know anglers are going out to have fun. And at the same point, what was fun? It was just having bets with our buddies and stuff like that. So I said, well, how can we can kind of make it a little bit more? So this is where this idea came from. And Garnett's in Tyler at Garnett's Rentals, he just loved the idea. Thankfully, wasn't he likes doing these online tournaments. He's kind of the reason that I put a little bit more extra thought into it, was specifically because of Tyler, actually. And so yeah, we're trying to pump the tires on this one here as it leads up into full-fledged tournament competition like the NCAA event in September, and it just gets that competition blood going, and it's the bragging rights and everything else. And one of the things that I personally love about tournament anglers in specific is it puts us under the clock. And there's certain conditions we have no choice. These are the 2 days that we have to accomplish this goal. So that's why we start learning to fish unfavorable conditions, unfavorable weather, water temperatures, time of year, all of that kind of stuff, because that's when the competition is happening. And as a result, my personal experience from fishing has skyrocketed, I find. So I'm hoping to be able to pass that on to people, and people can bite into it. And we actually we had a very good showing when I've had discussions with you in the past when we started this. I hope this was the number of anglers we ended up with, and we were kind of right there. So I'm very thankful for everybody signed up. The fish produced were right on par for where I thought was going to win this event. And I think there's actually more to be done. And I think a lot more people should get involved and show us what they can do, because we see them doing it on social media. They're already basically doing the exact same thing here. They're just not winning anything for it. You're posting it, you're tagging us, you're showing us everything you're catching. You know what? Get on Fish Donkey, put the $60 in. And, Ryan's case, Ryan walked away $350 for his weekend of fishing. He was going fishing anyways. So, and that prize would just increase based on the numbers. So, and the amount. So,
and what I love is as much as you're speaking to the competitive side of angling, which a lot of folks they appreciate, whether it's for fun or it's not. Everybody wants to catch the biggest fish. But you're making it affordable. You're giving an affordable option with a great payout, and as you have discussed at great length, the championship and how that works. You've got 5 people coming from each event that are going to be invited from each event that are going to participate in a championship.
Yes,
or an even bigger prize and purse. So, I think it's a solid concept, and maybe I should book a dip in that hot tub of yours.
Absolutely, buddy. You wouldn't believe the ideas that come up there. Some are not very good, but a lot of good ideas. And we kind of touch on this, and that's one of the conversations that we have. And between what CFN is doing with Anglers Atlas, and then what the NCAA is doing with the online events, weekend series, not just the weekend series, we've also have a multi-species series that is launched. It's ready to go. That we're looking to gain some traction on for the month of June and July. It's going to be a month-long event, but going into the in-person events. So we're covering that free aspect, very little price to that professional price point. So we're giving anglers as many options as we possibly can. And we're listening. If you say, hey, I'd like to see stuff like this here, enough people say that, we'll lean in that direction, because this is fun for us. I enjoy putting these on. I'm definitely going to be doing these throughout the winter in the ice fishing mode. I think I should be a bit more successful with that, because it's enjoyable. I mean, it's exciting to open up that app, and I'm like, hey, I want to see who put entries in. And all of a sudden I get 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, oh, wow, I got to verify all these here. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, oh, wow, that nice catch, Lenny, or way to go, Josh, that kind of stuff. So, and sometimes I'm messaging because I do kind of know some of these people. I'm like, holy shit, that was a great catch, man. Good job, and I don't know where people are catching the fish. So I want to make that very clear. Like when I see your post come in, I don't get that information. That's Fish Donkey's information. It's not mine. They're just making sure you're in the boundaries. That's all.
And that's the same thing with Anglers Atlas and the MyCatch app. At the end of the day, they get the information, we don't. So, there was a hesitation when we first launched it. They're like, wait a minute, if you're giving out that kind of information, I want no part of this. And I totally understand that. People want to keep a lot of their honey holes secret. And I get that. Totally understand. We're not trying to pry that information away from you getting, GPS coordinates or any of that. It is just being able with Anglers Atlas to provide information to biologists, to researchers, so that if there's a study that has to be done in a certain body of water, we're providing them some intel. And for no other reason, citizen science is something that I truly believe in. Sonia, who's with us tonight, I know you missed Monday, Sonia, but a great segue to be involved tonight because she has done some great work bringing to light the amount of Atlantic salmon that are in the North Shores of Lake Ontario. And, without that kind of intel from anglers, they wouldn't know, because if you just zipped it, no one would ever know. So she's done a great job.
Anglers Atlas in specific that I like, because I do use all of these apps. I'm not biased to one. In this particular case, this is just one that provided the best service for us at the time for these events. And Anglers Atlas, what I do like about it is from a personal standpoint, it's logging my waypoints from my catches. So it doesn't take me long to start realizing, hey, look at, I have a lot of catches in July in this area. Why is that? And it's not that area is hot. I can easily say that. That's like, oh, that's the spot. But then I can, from a tournament aspect, I break down to why is that spot productive. So then all of a sudden I immediately look at, I got 8 white points in this area. I see 4 or 5 areas like this spread out across the North Channel. I'm going to go hit those areas. And all of a sudden now I have a milk run or a honey hole of areas that I can hit that are producing those good fish. So that a little bit of information pays off dividends, that it's worth paying attention to. That's the stuff that we look for. We go through a lot of ridiculous information to try and get that edge on all the other guys competing.
No, cool stuff. Now, the thing that I love, and this is the part that I truly want to embrace, is with the number of anglers that you had, there were some really decent fish caught. But I think what this also does with the information that we're going to provide tonight is it opens the door to maybe get other people, listen, if this is the kind of fish that I need to catch to qualify, like, I'm in. And we all know it's fishing. There's no guarantee. But when you see a young lad like this, holding up, in my eyes, that's a great eating fish, but a decent sized walleye nonetheless. Yep. For Nolan to be holding that up, that's got to entice people to say, wait a minute, he qualified with a fish that size? Buddy, I'm in.
I am going to cut you off on there because Nolan didn't qualify because I edged him out on fish like that. I was the guy that qualified on that, but I wasn't the only one. I did. I apologize.
That's the end of our show. Thanks, folks.
Yeah. But we'll show the scoreboard, and so we had the transfer. Me and Nolan were right there, but you're absolutely right. I know how much time Nolan actually put in the water, and I know how much time I actually broke down. I was actually had a little malfunction on and I lost about half my day. I think I was talking to you at that point, but it doesn't. My fish were all 21 inches, 21s, 22s. They were all in that ballpark. Those are very common fish to get. It was just a matter of I didn't have a lot of time. I had a very small window to fish. That's what I produced in that small window of fish, and that's what I upgraded. On social media, there was easily 10 anglers that I personally know that were fishing in this area that were catching fish way bigger than I was. They were definitely would have walked away with a check that never signed up for this.
Wow.
And I'm not going to name anybody, but I was like, oh my God. And some people actually reached out and asked about it. I gave them all the information to sign up, and they didn't. And they could have easily walked away. If they would have signed up, it would have been more than a couple $100. That price increases. So it was kind of like, I was kind of surprised by that. And I'm hoping that people realize hey, well, I just realized Lenny got second place, and that was pretty so big a bag for him. And pretty much everybody only had 1 day on the water for a 3-day weekend. Just
Right,
about,
because the weather.
I know, not just the weather, just the logistics. Some people had other plans and whatever.
Right.
So Saturday was their day, or Monday was their day, or Sunday. So that's what they were able to accomplish in 1 day. So it was pretty impressive with that. And
well, one guy that I know fishes that area that should be involved in this is Matt Ellis. I know he's up there in that neck of the woods all the time because we've done lots of edits for him. So Matt, I'm calling you out, pal. You should be involved in this because I have a feeling that you'll do very well based on the size of fish that you catch. So I apologize, Nolan. I thought you qualified. Poor Danny punted you out of that position.
I personally
say that Brendan did, though.
Brain definitely qualified. He was actually our third place winner. So we'll touch on Brain a little bit. We do have a little sad thing to talk about, and a friend of Braden's is involved, but we'll kind of get to that afterwards. But Braden did very well. He was fishing with Nolan. So just to go to show the disparity, if you look at the boards and where they were at, they were quite a bit of difference.
And then, of course, we got started getting into some decent fish. Josh is holding up. That's what I would consider a typical cookie cut Spanish walleye.
I don't know if Josh was in Spanish. I don't know where he was. This was all in Ontario. Okay. Josh is from Sault Ste. Marie. I believe he has an Instagram account, Algoma Outdoors, I believe it is. So he, for all I know, could have been up at White River. He could have been down here in Spanish. I don't know. Josh is someone that does travel. And that's an unknown to me.
That's awesome. Sonia, you bring up a good point before we go on. For folks that, struggle with apps, and this is something that Danny and I talked about. We talk about at great length, and we would love people like Sonia involved. But of course, we're getting on in age. No offense, Sonia, because I'm just as old as you are. But man, I really like the competition. For me, just having to do stuff with apps is more for younger folks. I can't see well to read out there. I barely could stop fishing long enough to take a drink. And that's the addiction side of fishing. And I can't help you with that, Sonia. In fact, I'd like to say I'm an enabler when it comes to that side of your addiction. But needless to say, speak to that, Danny. Like, folks that do, it takes a little bit of a learning curve to get to understand apps. We see it with the CFN Fish Off and all the events that we do. Is there any advice that you can give them? Because I know you've used it quite a bit.
Yeah, and it was kind of like the first time I'm like, oh, this doesn't make sense to me. But all of the apps put on very excellent videos to describe them, whether it's Angler's Atlas, Fish Donkey, or e-tournaments. Those are probably the three bigger ones that we kind of go with. It's no different than a Facebook group doing something. It's exactly the same way. We take a picture with them. The interesting fact that I have with all of these apps is they store it for you. So they don't rely on bad service. It's not your camera roll or anything like that. Oh, it can go into your camera roll if you set it up. I know Angler's Atlas does that. I believe Fish Donkey just have to double check on that one. So you have to refresh it. You just have to hit refresh because I had bad service, but it lives there and you don't lose it. It's time stamped. So even if it's after hours, we can prove, oh yeah, that was done prior. But back to Sony, like I'm almost 50. And I don't find it very difficult. We play on there. If you're playing video games on your phone, whether it's Tetris or like that, you can operate these apps because it's simple. It's take a picture. I like it. You accept. And then the next one, it says, do you want to take a video? Yes, I want to take a video. You take your video, release it, you accept it, you're done. And it's fairly simple to do. And for those that are fishing for social media content as well, you can do all your social media stuff first and then do this and release the fish. So you can do both because I have done it pre-fishing during tournaments, during a live tournament. I've done that up in Outagamie. I was fishing an Angler's Atlas event actually, and I was catching big perch. So I was entering these perch in this. I can't remember what it was. The tournament was, but I ended up winning. They were like some 12-inch perch, but they weren't big enough. But I was able to do that during the actual tournament for a walleye event that I was in. I was species that I couldn't count. All of a sudden, I was throwing him into another tournament. So there's a lot of options with that.
Good stuff. Well,
yeah, answer your question. Maybe I just got.
Well, it's absolutely. Did you ever? And then, of course, we get into some of these, as my good buddy Tyler Brooks would say, slaunch donkeys. Right, beautiful fish there. I don't know if you know where Ryan was fishing. Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh, I know exactly where he was fishing. Yeah. We were. I was hitting his boat with my jigs. Now we were. They came down for the day to this area. But that being said, I didn't know if they were going to come down here or not. I thought they were actually going to fish because they're from the Sioux as well. So it was nice to see.
That's awesome. So that is the leaderboard as it finished off. As you mentioned, yeah, you did. You came in fifth. Unfortunately, I feel bad for you, Nolan. But we didn't get a picture of Len. Is his profile pic the actual fish that he caught?
No, it is not.
Okay.
So we made the hero shot optional in the app. So you can select how you want to do something. All we really cared about was the bump port picture for the measurements.
Gotcha.
And proof that you released the fish. We want to see it swim away. The only reason for that is that we didn't want you to be able to enter the same fish twice, multiple times. If I let you keep it, you can keep entering the same fish. Really, that was the only reason in my mind for doing that was let it go. Every anglers have the legal right to keep the fish. It's up to them, but we just said no. We want to see it swim away so the competition's fair. And we do encourage that you release big fish, of course, but. So on that point there, but no, Lenny was he only put the videos for the release, and he actually had multiple. I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 7 entries. So that's important because as you're adding entries, if your next one's bigger, it just eliminates the smaller one and adds the big one. So you don't have to think about your top 3. The app does it for you. So he was upgrading as the day went on, and I think he only fished. It was Saturday that his entries came in. So at the end of Saturday, he was actually in first place. Ryan fished on Sunday and was able to overtake Lenny on that one there. And same with Braden. Braden fished on Friday evening, and on Saturday, I think Braden was the first ones we started seeing entries coming in.
Mm-hmm.
But the only one that didn't take a photo, so we encouraged it, but he didn't, so we don't get to share you. And well, we're very happy. We had 14 anglers show up, so I'm very happy with the turnout for that, to be quite honest. For something we've pulled out of our hat a month ago.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we're hoping to build in the next one, which is next weekend.
So with that being said, of course, and just so folks understand, when they see stringer of 3, does that mean the best 3 walleye that you catch?
Yes. So it's your longest 3 walleye converted to weight. The reason why we convert to weight, it's easier for tiebreakers. People can fall on the same measurement lengthwise, but you can do it in different fashions. So someone can actually do it with one big fish and 2 smaller fish, but that big fish weight-wise would actually have dwarfed. So that's the reasoning for that. Nothing that angler has to do. It's all done in the app, and it's consistent. If I've seen multiple 20-inch walleyes come in, and they all had the exact same number attached to it. So there was no change in that regard. So it's not like it varies. So it's helpful for that way, but it's fairly easy to do. So that you put your fish in, you measure it, you put it in, you got your first catch, it's registered. What happens, you see it unverified until one of the judges, myself or Sean in this case, next week, and probably Scottie helping us out, where we verify. And all it is, we just want to make sure that you provided the cape. You're touching the bump board, the mouth is touching the board, tail is where it is. Many anglers, to their credit, we upsize. So if your walleye was actually technically 20 1/8, we round it up to 20 1/4. If it's just flirting over the line, most anglers I found were very honest. They were all like, "This is a 20-inch walleye," even though it's definitely over the line. And we, in pretty well every case, we rounded it up. We gave them that extra 1/4 inch, and so that gave them that little bit, but it was consistent across the board. So once you've done that, if you've measured 4 fish, the app automatically recognizes the 3 largest, and that's what it shows as your final placement. You can go the next day, put in 10 more walleye if you want to try and increase, but after a while you start realizing, well, all of my walleye were 22 inches. I need at least 22 1/2 to even consider bumping it. And we've seen that Monday. This is the only event that went 3 days because Monday was a long weekend. We added that extra day. And I think I've seen 2 or 3 entries. And I was at the lower end, which was very nice to see. It was people that were definitely far and far out of it, but they were still putting their entries in. And I was very happy to see that because to Sonia's point, there were people that actually struggled on day 1 with their entries. Where we had to deny a couple entries, and they didn't give up. They went back and they put an entry in. That's the way you do it. So we approved it.
That's awesome. So, being devil's advocate, just for the sake of conversation, obviously a Georgian Bay walleye or a North Channel walleye is a lot different in size and weight, especially
Yes.
than something that's inland. So, does this app at all? Is there any coordination in terms of where you catch it geographically that it will speak to the difference in weight based on its size?
No, it's just a numerical value. So we could have easily said no, we're going to leave that at inches, and Ryan would have been. I know Ryan's numbers where it was a 30 inches, 27, and a 26. So he would have been well over 100 inches, let's say, in length. The next one would have been 99 inches. It's the same thing. It just puts it into a weight category.
I think that's brilliant.
And it's there's many forms online that do a generic. They call it a generic length to weight conversion, and they're all pretty much exactly the same. And it's length times girth divided by something. I can't remember an exact formula for it. And it consistently does the same thing. And the reason why they do that is exactly for that. So you might say, hey, a 30-inch walleye in the Great Lakes is 12 pounds. In September, right now, it's only 9 pounds. I know that for a fact, but the app that put it up showed it as being 11 pounds because they understand that there's that variation. And that's not much different. We've seen 30 inches caught in inland reservoirs that were 12 pounds. So we know that consistency is there. By doing it this way here, they just said, this is the number for it. And I totally support it. But it's consistent. Everybody's graded the exact same way. So it doesn't change from anything else. And the weight's just a number. We don't care about the weight. We're not weighing them. It's all length based.
100%. Oh, it makes perfect sense. So with that being said, of course, the first inaugural qualifier is in the books. And now we look forward to qualifier number 2, May 29th to the 31st, which, as Danny said, is next weekend. Tell everybody, is there a boundary? Is it just open to all of Canada, all of Ontario?
We are all of Ontario, so all Ontario waters. We do monitor it, so it's much easier for us to monitor on the app. And I say us, I mean Fish Donkey monitors it. So really, they're just making sure that we're not crossing provincial or federal borders, because we do have that here in our area, especially down to Windsor and Detroit. I really thought we'd see a lot more people from Lake Erie area, especially because when you see the numbers now, like they probably would have ran away with this one. That was a missed opportunity, I think, for a lot of guys down at that part of the anglers down that part of the world.
Yeah.
But so next weekend is our next event, and it's anywhere in Ontario. And we know that when we started this, we included Friday. We did have a couple comments regarding that because up here, Zone 10 opened on Saturday. But we have Zone 14, which is literally across the highway, which opened on May 1st. And we know a lot of our Southern Ontario people, they had May 1st was open. So Friday was a legal fish day. And we thank you very much for bringing up that concern, because we could justify it. And we said, no, you're absolutely right to bring that up, but we can prove that they're well within the boundaries. So that's don't be shy to ask those questions. We don't take that as a negative. That's a positive. You need to understand. We need to understand that everybody's your brother's keeper kind of thing.
And this is it. I mean, you tried to work within I guess just an understanding that it is the honor system, and we try to be honorable about it. But unfortunately, when there's money and prizes involved, sometimes it gets the better of people.
Just egos, I find.
Well, there's that too. I didn't want to say that, but you're 100% right. So Q2, May 29th to 31st. How do they sign up, Danny?
Get to the Fish Donkey app, create an account. If you don't have one, log on. It's totally free. And they have a lot of tournaments on there. So if you are Midwestern, United States, Michigan, all over the place, you can have. We actually did have one American registered for the event who was fishing in Canada. So there's no restrictions in that. So feel free to go in there and find the NCAA weekend series, and it'll bring you up. And the only one available now is the Q2, Q3, and Q4. So even if you can't fish next weekend event, but you're available for June 5th and 7th, and you're interested in it, sign up for that event. And don't be shy. As people sign up, we get more people to sign up. and it's going to happen no matter what. If we have one angler, it's still going to happen, and that lucky angler is going to qualify. If we have 50 anglers, then the prize pool just got that much bigger, and we have more to give out. So
it would be awesome if we were to join back here in 2 Wednesdays from now, and you had that many anglers involved. That would be a big tip of the hat to you, pal.
I know everybody's out there. I mean, Ontario has probably, I think it's the largest population of anglers in Canada. Like anglers. I would agree. And so we were like, why are we holding ourselves back by keeping it to zone 10, zone 14? Let's include more. And so we had a realistic number in our mind. We kind of met that. But at the end of the day, we're not naive to the fact we work in the fishing industry. We go to the sportsman show. We see the 15, 20,000 people a day going through there wanting to talk about fishing. Well, we kind of say, well, why not try this for $60?
Yeah.
But
so calling all anglers, where is you? Where is you? Where are you at? Where are you to?
I'm trying not to be rude and like, come on, sign up for this.
Jeremy, yeah, buddy. As I said, we have seen your proficiency on apps, and for a gentleman that is a little longer in the tooth than some, you're setting the bar pretty high, pal. With that being said, was there anything more that you wanted to mention about the NCWO before we move on?
I do. I don't know if anybody's noticed, I'm donning the white cap and I've got the white beer with me, but our newest sponsor for the NCWO is we're very proud to have Moosehead Breweries on board, and more specifically their Crack Canoe, which is their ultra premium light, and that's fantastic. It's a hot tub brainstorm in a can, but it's a really good beer. We're very happy to have them on board.
That's awesome. Well said. And of course, next weekend's event is solely sponsored by, of course, the great folks over at Fishy Bang Bang. For anybody who is looking for hunting, fishing, and everything in between, head to Espanola. They've got what you need.
Absolutely. And all of our sponsors' prizes, all the sponsors have been brought aware that this is a provincial event. So all the winners will be directed to their sponsors, and they will make arrangements and they will ship the prizes to you. I'm not really brought aware of what the prizes are. We've kind of left that up to the sponsors. I know that they're all pretty good sponsors, and at the end of the day, too, it's they're promoting their brand, so they're not going to be shy or not genuine or generous, I should say, with what they're giving out. So, yeah, don't worry about it. If you're from Windsor and you're like, well, where's Fishy Bang Bang? Don't worry, you might get some nice swag from them, and they'll ship it off to your door, take care of you. So,
awesome stuff. Right on. Well, I'm going to lean on my my buddy Mike. He has a little bit of a video that he put together for us. I want to share that now just to introduce our next event, which, of course, is coming up right, I would say right smack dab in the middle of yours, May 30th. So take it away, Mikey.
All right, I'm in the car. Can't join you tonight, but I want to let you know about the Shimano Compre Conquer Challenge. It's actually the Compre Conquer All challenges. What are you conquering? You're conquering 7 different panfish. The tagline of the event is small fish, big prizes. And what are those big prizes? Well, there are a ton of the 2026 new Compre line rods. You can win one of those. On top of that, with a Compre, you can win a Mirabelle. Or with your Compre, you can also win a Vanford. And all you gotta do, it's free. All you gotta do is catch one of those 17 panfish. And the thing is, if you catch one panfish, that's 1 ballot into one of our Compre draws. If you catch 2 panfish, that's 2 ballots. It could be 2 perch, or it could be 1 perch and 1 sunfish. It doesn't matter. But you're allowed to catch 12 ballots, 12 catches, 12 entries every single day. So within the month of June, you can catch 12 different fish every single day. It's actually a little bit longer than June. It's May 30th, so you can start on a Saturday, and then all the way to July 1st, so that you could fish. Since you're going to be off anyways fishing, you might as well put in a ballot on Canada Day. So catch as many panfish as you can, and there's different types of panfish across any province. So it doesn't matter if you're in Newfoundland or all the way to BC or somewhere in between. We made sure there is a small fish that you can catch so you can win some big Shimano prizes. If you want to register, go to cfnfishoff.com. It's free. If you're fishing anyways, you might as well enter, because that new Shimano Compre, oh man, it is amazing. Go check it out. cfnfishoff.com. Register today.
Awesome. And Mike is 100% right. The judges and ourselves, we put together a format that would allow folks to at least submit 4 ballots per day, which means 4 separate species. So it doesn't matter where you are in Canada, you are eligible to catch at least 4 different species of panfish that will allow you 4 ballots per day. But as Mike said, you can submit a species or at least one species every single day to get a total of 12 ballots. So the species are, of course, as Mike mentioned, from a freshwater perspective, we'll cycle through, and I know Danny and I have spoke about this at great length. So these are the species, which is a little bit different than how the CFN Fish Off works, where it's multi-species. We want you to catch as many different species as possible. This is set aside and unique because, of course, we're doing some great promotion for Shimano for their new Compre line. But what they're going to be giving away, of course, and we'll be talking about that shortly, is the new Compre Walleye rod. And for those who have it, now Joe Vitani just picked one up. I myself love it. The sensitivity on it is remarkable, and really is, to me, one of the elite Compres they have. Now, I know musky anglers and other big fish anglers would say, hey, listen, Scottie, you're off your rocker. Some of their higher-end Compre, bigger rods are just as good, if not better. But from a walleye perspective and a walleye guy, that Compre is something else. And we're really, really excited about that. So that's all the freshwater species. Here's all the saltwater species. So it doesn't matter. As I said, you could be on the Atlantic coast, Pacific coast, or any coast that is saltwater. These are some of the panfish that you are eligible to catch. And of course, you are able to catch and submit 1 species per day for 1 ballot, up to a total of 12. And lots of fun. I'm going to assume there's going to be lots of fish entered, as there always is. It's going to be interesting because we've never run an event like this that was not species driven. This is solely what species are available. So this is kind of different for us, kind of cool. But we've been promoting, of course, all of your PBs, because we wanted folks to start sharing some of the PBs that they've caught over time. And we've been doing this every Monday as a Monster Monday profile and CFN feature. So as I said, we will be going through the saltwater species next. But at the end of the day, as I said, it's all about catching not necessarily the biggest panfish, at least 1 per day for the whole time that this event is running.
And that's the beauty. Like when we talk about these online tournaments, it's such a variety, and you don't have to be the biggest. You just have to qualify the fish.
Absolutely. Well, as you proved this past weekend with the weekend series, at the end of the day, you didn't have to necessarily catch the biggest. You certainly had to get the biggest 3 in order to get the weight. But at the end of the day, I mean, seeing some of the fish that were caught, it would entice me to want to get involved. I would want to be involved in this because really, I mean, at the end, I go out and catch 3 21-inch walleye. I got a good chance of qualifying based on the results that I saw from last week.
Yeah.
So with that being said, of course, this is the Compre Conquer All Challenge, as Mike mentioned, and the prizes that we're going to be giving away are, of course, the new Compre walleye rods. They've tweaked them a little bit from what they used to be. They're even better than what they used to be, in my opinion. We're going to be giving 5 of those random rods away. And all you have to do is, as I said, to qualify is catch 1 fish, 1 species, 1 day. You get a ballot and you qualify. But the more ballots, the better your chances of winning. And we're going to be giving those 5 away at the end of the event. And then, of course, at the end of the event, we have a couple other prizes that these are kind of traditional for CFN. We love the videos that we get. So, of course, if you are out fishing and you happen to have a Compre rod with you, we want to make sure that you guys focus on the fact that you caught whatever species it was with your Compre rod. If you do, we are going to put you in a separate draw, which is the video draw. And with that, you get a chance to go home with not only a Compre rod, but a Miraval reel. And as I said, all you do, one ballot, one species of fish, and you qualify. So make sure you mention that you have your Shimano Compre. And if you only own Shimano products, no fault, no shame, it is what it is. We have the hero shot. This is typical for us here at CFN. We do this all the time. Simply show your Shimano as you submit your fish, show whatever Shimano product you have. It could be a hat, shirt, knife, flashlight, whatever. As long as it says Shimano on it, the judges will make sure that they set you aside, not only for the regular draw, but of course the hero shot as well. So again, lots of options to win, lots of options to participate, and of course, the more ballots, the better your chances of winning. With that being said, of course, both of these events, one thing is very, very crucial, and I want to take a second because Danny and I are going to have them on the POW'er because their story is truly unique. You might just look at it as this is just a measuring apparatus. But the good folks over at Go Large Fish Ruler, there is a really cool story, and I'm not going to spill the beans. I'm going to let them tell the story because it's something that is very near and dear to the heart and the reason why they got into this. But what I want to announce, which is really cool, any bump board that has a CFN logo on it. So if you specifically, use the email that's at the bottom and say, I want a CFN bump board. Could be a 24-inch, 36, or 55, depends on what you want. They will give it to you with no added cost for the custom logo. So you'll get the CFN board. But here's the best part, is you don't have to pay tax. So they are excluding any of the tax on the sale if you specifically ask for the CFN bump board. So to Randy and Ron, I want to thank you lads for supporting us the way you do. They already have quite a few orders already on the go, which we're really proud about because they're kind of a smaller shop. I would say kind of a niche market. If you go over to their website, by all means, I invite you to do so. They come up with some really cool things, some cool novelty products. And I had mentioned to them at one of the shows, have you ever thought of getting into the bump boards? Well, here it is. This is the proof in the pudding, and the fact that they're selling them at a very reasonable price. And to CFNers only, if you get the CFN logo added to your bump board, there is no tax in your purchase. Now, of course, we've got handlebars. You have the NXS board. So, at the end of the day, every board has to be certified, sort of calibrated, make sure that it's on the up and up. The nice thing about these, if you buy a Go Large Fish Ruler, we don't have to do any calibration. We already know that they're calibrated properly, so you're good to go.
Absolutely. And I mean, the way things are going, the days of the old tape on the side of the lund are long gone, and that has a lot to do with the regulations that have been growing in the last 10 or 15 years, where we have to pay attention now to more slot sizes and stuff like that. And I remember as a kid where it was 5 walleye, it didn't matter how big they were, 5 bass or 5 pike, it didn't matter. Now everything's got its own specific set of rules. And not only that, when you get rules and as technology get better, then we have our benchmarks, our goals, 50-inch muskie, that 30-inch walleye, and that kind of stuff. So 100%. Get a good board to prove it.
Absolutely. And a great segue. We got the one and only Big Jim McLaughlin here, who used to back in the day, and Jim, you could correct me if I'm wrong, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, but they used to measure by using their shoe. So if you had a small foot, the better your chances of winning the tournament. Whereas Jim, he had his size 14s, when he was 9 years old, he would always lose. And he said, I think he was the one that invented the measuring tape or the bump board, because he said, I'm sick of losing. I got to use this damn friggin' shoe, this boat that I walk around with. Anyway, I digress. I'm kidding. But nonetheless, the bump boards have certainly made things easier, especially for the online savvy anglers and all of the online events. So as I said, by all means, if you get a chance, head on over to Go Large Fish Rulers. They're a great pair, a great bunch, and they do CFN proud. So we're happy to have them a part of our community. As Jim, there I go. I stand corrected, Jim.
And and the bump boards right now, and I mean, especially having Big Jim on here, and you're going back to talking about his time, as he's seen, because nobody's been paying attention to the industry longer than him. Not to be offensive with Jim here, but so you've seen all the changes that have gone through. So if you don't have a good quality bump board now, it was like not having a good rod and reel way back when. You need that. It's now a part of your arsenal, part of your toolkit. Because this is the future. Online tournaments, online fishing, I think, in that general regard, is kind of the only way it's going to be going, man.
And I think that's where you and I sort of meshed with the idea, because at the end of the day, it wasn't so much that we wanted to push the NCAA as the walleye tournament that it is, and truly, as we always say in all of our posts, it's the North Channel Walleye Open. It's just different, and it is. But unique as it is, we also have to understand that there is a good core group of anglers out there that still want to compete, but don't have the means. So these online tournaments give them that competitive edge, give them that competitive opportunity. They get to win some cool prizes. Maybe in your cases, they get to take home a little bit of cash. But at the end of the day, they're still able to compete and still do it, at a reasonable price tag.
I think when it comes to like the NCAA, when we discussed that, once we kind of got it off the ground, we provided it with off ramps to get on different freeways, and that definitely means just how the fishing scene is changing, and it's out of our hands, so we don't have a choice. It's legal, it's law. So we wanted to make sure we were in a position to adapt very quickly and still provide everything we could.
100%. All right, so we don't have to go the full hour, so we could wrap up. Dan, let's start with you. Of course, the NCAA Weekend Series, the first qualifier is done. Yes. Qualifier number 2 is coming up next weekend, and in order to qualify, you need to go to
Fish Donkey, find the NCAA Weekend Series, sign up, pay your $60, get online. You must do that before noon on Friday of May 29th. Once the event is active, we do not accept any entries at that point, and it ends at 5 p.m. I believe on Sunday. And you can fish if you fished last weekend. You're more than welcome to fish this weekend. You're just not qualifying. You've already done so, and we just move on to next on the list until we get our 20 people at the end of the 4 events. So don't hesitate. Get on board and sign up and go.
That's so cool. And of course, the Compre Conquer All Challenge. The cool thing I get to announce, of course, it is uploaded to Anglers Atlas and the MyCatch app. So head on over to Anglers Atlas, look for the MyCatch app. You will see the icon. It'll be there, the Compre Conquer All Challenge. Click on it, get yourself registered, because starting May 30th, she's a go. She's on, like Donkey Kong.
And you can do both at the same time.
That's the other beautiful thing, you know, and that's the other thing that I think these online tournaments, they speak to, because you can compete on multiple platforms. You don't have to just do one. That's another cool thing.
Just remember to enter the right fish in the right event. That's all.
Well, we've had that issue with the fish. I have to admit, if the judges were listening, they'd say, that was one of the biggest pains in their arse, is they would get whatever decal or catchphrase that we were using, but it would be for another tournament, and they're like, "Nah, we can't qualify because you're not using the right. We know it's a legal fish, but you've given us another catchphrase for another. We can't accept it." So,
and that was the negative with the Facebook events.
Yeah,
that's for the apps. You don't have to worry about catchphrases. It's
absolutely
So
got it. 100%.
Oh well, we'll make it.
Right on, Danny. Well, as I said, it's always an honor and a pleasure to be able to speak with you each and every week. We're going to continue to do this. I'm hoping to have Ron and Randy on next Wednesday, but we have also possibly got a couple other guests that might be coming on next Wednesday as well. We'll wait for that, but in the meantime, happy fishing, buddy, and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. You too.